It's Nick and Mike's top 100 games. But does anyone care what they have to say? I know I don't. Cause they may dab, they might scream, they may say some things that are plain wrong. Dab on it, dab on it. But they are dumb bing bongs. My teacher's better.
What is up, everybody? My name is Nick.
I'm Mike.
We are the Brothers Murph, and we are back with our top 100 games of all time.
I'm sorry, it's the top 100 favorite water balls of all
Sorry.
time? Number one!
Number one is the coldest water. This whole top 100 is sponsored by the coldest water bottle, who hit us up incessantly to sponsor us because they were so impressed by us.
I mean, if they beg enough, we ought to
we might as well. They offered us $50 to do 10 videos. That's not $50 per video. That's $50 for 10 videos total. Split
2 ways.
2 ways, exactly.
So, we won?
So this whole thing is sponsored by the coldest water bottle, the coldest damn water on the planet.
Boom. Shatter your teeth is so cold. Actually, be careful.
Yeah.
So cold, it's just ice. Very undrinkable. Welcome to our top 100 games of all times, everybody. I am Mike. That is Nick. We are the Brothers Murph. And it's time that we talk about some gosh dang board games.
Gosh darn games. We're into 91. We've had no crossover yet.
Now,
granted, we've only done 10 each, but no crossover.
No crossover yet. So from here, we're going to have 90 to 81.
Yeah.
So now we're getting into some good games. Last episode.
Crap. Hot Garbo.
Those games were bud.
Max Garbo. Yeah.
So now we got some good games for you. We are continuing through our top 100 games of all time. Real quick, maybe this will inspire you to make your own top 100. As we go through these, please let us know what you think of the games that we have chosen, whether or not they'd make your list. If you make a list for yourself, let us know what would be in your 90
follow
to
along
81.
with us, indeed. Yeah.
Please do.
And subscribe while you're here. Just want to
Get those
get that out of the way.
notifications on.
Yeah.
Smart.
Also, let's start.
Let's start.
90.
So what do you have for number 90?
Number 90, here's the thing. I know it pisses me off that I like it. It makes me mad that this is on my top 100.
Now I'm curious.
Because I want to not like it out of spite for the production. And that is Carpe Diem, is my 90.
You'll see it on my list, too.
I want this to be off my list because the production is such an abomination.
The fact that they printed that prototype was bold, you know? That was a bold choice.
But I really like the game, and that's what bothers me so much. If the production was garbage, but I hated the game, I'd be like, all right, whatever, who cares? Yeah. But I really like this game.
Carpe Diem's really well designed.
And it's like, it looks so bad, but nonetheless, it's a great game that I really like where you're doing stuff theme. And you're getting stuff for theme, and you're getting points. It's Steffenfeld. It's great. It's got this really cool mechanism, though, where you have your, I don't know what they're called, your person. And your person is on the thing, and there's all these different kind of like land types or buildings or whatever theme. They all look exactly the freaking same. But basically,
pretty bad graphic design.
It's in this kind of big spoke wheel kind of thing.
Yeah,
where essentially where your person is, you can only go to like 2 different things along these lines. So you go basically straight across, and then you grab a tile from there and put it in your city, town, province, whatever theme. And then from there, when it comes back to my turn, I have to follow those there are 2 lines that go somewhere else, and I basically you're bouncing around this like little spoke thing, trying to get the tiles that you want, while Mike is essentially doing the same thing, and then you're essentially trying to get these scoring cards that are in this really interesting configuration, and it's a really, really fun game mechanically.
Yeah.
And it looks horrible, but I really like it, and so it's staying in our collection because I really love the game.
Yeah, it's a really
it just
good
looks
game.
bad. It's to the
It
point where
is-
it's hard to play sometimes because the graphic design is so bad.
It is getting redone.
Yes.
And we'll hopefully address, I think we'll be specifically addressing all those issues. But it's a shame that like, oh, now I guess we could rebuy it again if we want the nice looking one. I'm like, that's
Which this is one
not
I
fair.
might want to because it's hard to play the other
It
ones
is.
sometimes.
It is hard to
But
play.
nonetheless, I really like Carpe Diem. That's why it's my number 90. It's still in my top 100 because I really like it. It's just the production's an abomination.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
My number 90 is a 2-player trick-taking game. I've got a couple 2-player trick-taking games coming up here. It's the Fox and the Forest, or the Fox and the Forest duet. I'll put them together. And this is a 2-player trick-taking game.
Am I in an igloo right now? Am I in an igloo?
I think you are, man. You okay?
I feel like I'm in an igloo, dude.
Yeah.
My body's so cold.
Do you see a seal nearby? Nick's frozen on the inside. It's a 2-player trick-taking game.
What is it, Fox and the Forest?
Fox and the
Great
Forest,
game.
man. Or Fox and the Forest duet. I'll put them together
Oh,
here.
so you are, huh?
I'm putting them together. I'm keeping it easy.
I didn't.
I'm keeping it easy peasy.
That's fair.
I think I did. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's later. We'll find out.
We'll find out if
Fox
Mike's
in the
a
Forest
dirty
is
liar.
here at 90. I'll
Great
tell you
game.
that much. It's a two-player trick-taking game where you're just playing back and forth trying to score the most points. And the cool thing is you have 11 cards of each suit. There's 3 suits. And the odd number cards will have powers attached to them. So they're going to allow you to draw a card, swap out what the decree card is, a trump suit, do all these different things, and you're just trying to outwit your opponent. And it's just pretty standard trick taking, but it's cool that it works in a 2-player environment where you're trying to go back and forth, and you're trying to win tricks, but you're not trying to win too many tricks.
Yes.
Because if you win too many tricks, if I played Nick and I just took all of them,
You shot the moon or whatever.
I shot the moon, that's bad. I was too greedy, and Nick would actually get a bunch of points, and I would get nothing essentially for my effort. So you want to get just enough to like win. You want to get like 6 tricks exactly. So that's kind of this fun
it's a
balance
very fun
point
balance
between being too greedy and winning just enough.
Yeah, I love that balance so much. I think it's really fun. And 2-player trick taking is hard to do, and they do.
It is. They do it. So Fox and the Forest is my number 90.
And just in case Mike did motion them together, Fox and Forest Duet is really great.
Let me find out.
It's really, really great. If you did, it's a co-op version of Fox and the Forest. Really, really fun.
That's both of them, folks.
Okay, that's both of them. It's great. Which one do you like
them
more?
the
Do you
same.
like one of them more than the
I
other?
like them the same.
Okay, cool.
Probably Fox and the Forest. I don't know.
Yeah, I like Duet better.
I
Personally,
really don't know. That's the thing.
Cool. All right, that's our number 90. Starting off hot. Let's get into number. We're starting off cold actually, but let's get into number
the coldest.
90.
Getting
What
colder
is it?
still.
89. 90, 89. Cold as water.
89.
All right. My number 89 is a small card game that will destroy your brain, and that is Arboretum.
Oh, good call.
Because trees are complex, Mike.
Yeah.
They have complex emotions.
Listen, that
all
one
those
movie,
rings,
The Happening, they
every
kill
one of those.
you.
Yeah, exactly. They will kill you. Nonetheless, Arboretum is a great 2-player game. Not 2-player game, a great card game.
It's good too, though.
It's good too.
Better
And
and
essentially, it's a very, very, very simple game in terms of the mechanics. Basically, you're going to put a card down in your tableau of trees. You're essentially making an arboretum, a big line of trees in all these different ways. And there are a bunch of different species of trees, and you're essentially trying to make these paths of trees. And then you discard a card and then draw a card. And you can discard to your own discard pile. You discard your own discard pile, but you can pick up cards from anyone's discard pile or off the top of the deck, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. And so
It's a mix.
you're building out this arboretum of trees, but the way you score is very, very difficult. Basically, you have a path of trees, and say I have like a juniper tree, and I have a level 1 down here and a level 8 over here. I can score that path that goes from that 1 to 8. But each species of tree is only allowed to be scored by the person who has the highest sum of those cards still in their hand at the end of the game.
So you can't play at all.
Yeah, so having the best path doesn't actually matter because you basically need to play cards out there to get the most points, but you need to keep enough cards back so that you're the one who scores that species.
Yeah.
And it is really difficult balance to have, and it's very, very fun, very, very thinky, absolutely destroys your brain, and yet the game itself is incredibly simple. In terms of simple mechanics to depth of strategy, it's one of the biggest out there. It really, really is.
Yeah.
It's great. Arboretum's wonderful. It's got great art, too.
It's brilliant. It looks beautiful, and it is very puzzly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good. My number 89 is another 2-player trick-taking game called Claim. Claim and all the claims. I put them all together because this one is just swapping out
all the same.
faction types and stuff. So Claim is a great 2-player trick-taking game where now you are given a whole mess of different faction types that you are smashing together. There's knights and goblins and doppelgangers and seers and wizards and things. And they all have different things that they do. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be shuffling all those up, and then you're going to be playing standard trick-taking, where whoever leads, the other person must follow that suit if they can. Again, the suits will be whatever type, like knight it is or a giant. And you're going to try to win tricks. In the first half of the game, you're going to be playing for a face-up card. That'll be one of those cards, and it may be good or bad. And so based off that, if I'm leading, I may not want that card, so I might try to deliberately lose this trick so that I can draw a card off the top, because the whole first half of the game, you are playing to set up for the second half of the game. You're going to be playing 13 tricks in the first half, which will get you 13 cards, which you then play in the second half, and at the end of the second half, you're hoping to have basically the most of each type of faction. So by winning tricks, you get to keep those factions, and then if you have 3 of the 5 types, you win. You get the majority of those types. So it's just a really fun, interesting game where half the time at least, I'd say you're playing to lose.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want this card.
Yeah.
If I don't win, I get to draw a card off the top of the deck. Now, this card's horrible. I will likely get something better if I just blind draw.
Yeah.
I'll take my chances there. So there's just this really interesting way that you're going about it. And the way the factions work are so fun, and you can start to kind of blend them with the different expansions. It's just really great.
It's great.
Yeah. So
That's really what it comes down to. Yeah, Claim is, oh, it's good. Yeah, I like it a lot. All right, that's 89. Let's get an 88.
88.
Huh?
What the hell are you doing?
Sip of coffee?
You better drink some cold water, man. That's going to heat up your body temperature. It's not good for you.
Sip of water. Sorry.
You got to have balance. All right. Just no. Is there water left in
I
this?
said balance. I'm going to have the Lucas coffee.
Gross.
That's not good.
That wasn't water.
That's probably going to melt the metal lining in here. Aluminum in the bloodstream.
Oh, my Lord. My number 88 is a game called Oceans. This is kind of a third in a series, essentially, the Evolution series. There's Evolution, the Evolution Climate,
Has the
which
game
was
evolved, you'd say?
Yes, I have, and I think it's involved better. I was checking the last one. Evolution is not on my list anymore, but Evolution Oceans
You a hater?
Yeah, I like Evolution Oceans a lot. I think it's a better game, personally. I think it's more interesting in terms of the way
Oceans is
it
really
works.
cool.
Yeah,
I don't think it's on my list because I didn't consider
I played it more
it.
than you.
You
Yeah,
played it more than I.
Yeah. So Oceans is very, very cool. So basically it's like evolution where you are evolving species. You start with a species and then you're essentially putting different traits on it. In normal evolution will be different traits like horns or pack hunting, different things that animals literally evolve to. And basically your evolutions of your species kind of switch in and out as things change, which actually represents evolution quite well. Like, oh, this doesn't work anymore. Okay, we need to evolve like this to keep alive, essentially. And Oceans is all in the ocean. But now instead of just being individual species, everything kind of works in a big circle. So you essentially have your species, but you a lot of times are feeding off of or stealing from or somehow being affected or affecting the species on either side of yourself. So if I have this species here, I might leech off of this species right here and get food. And that could even be my own species, or I could leech off the person to my left or the species to my left, which might be one of Mike's species. So this whole thing is this big circular thing. And a lot of people talk about the game being very mean. It doesn't feel mean because it just feels kind of natural in a way. I'm like, oh no, like, you know, I have a crab, I have bottom feeding. And so every time this species over here gets attacked, my crab gets fed a little bit because it's like, ooh, scraps, and then it packs off.
It's just natural.
Yeah,
right?
and it's very, very cool. And then there's all these different kind of events that can happen which affect things, which is super cool. And the big Cambrian explosion happens, which is awesome. But then there's like also you can add in these deep cards, which are essentially like trait cards on steroids.
They start getting
nuts.
weird.
They start getting crazy. And you can play those cards to make your species even weirder. And basically you're just trying to eat the most food, basically. You're trying to have the most population. But your population's constantly going down, and it's a very, very fun game. And I think it's a better game than Evolution, the base game. I do like Evolution Climate a lot, but Evolution, just straight up the base game Evolution without Climate, I'm very much like, nah, I'm cool at this point. Yeah, Evolution Climate I still like a lot because it has the climate going on, but in the end I would still choose Oceans.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Yeah, I like Oceans a lot. That's my number 88. Yep. 88 over here.
Well, my number 88, if you believe it, is Evolution Climate.
Is it really?
So, you know, we'll
call that a semi-crossover.
Again, I've only played Oceans twice.
All right. Okay.
So I think Oceans will become our Evolution game.
I have a hunch in subsequent calls, Evolution will probably go away. Oceans
just because we have a similar enough game. But to this point, I've played Evolution more. So, but as you can see, it's right in the same zone. Evolution Climate, as Nick kind of alluded to, is a game similar where you're building up species to hopefully have adaptations to be able to survive and eat the most food to support hopefully big populations and stuff. But basically, the more you eat, the more points you get. Everything you eat is points. And so it has this really cool thing of, I want to create all these things, and I'm an herbivore, so I can go down the watering hole and get food, but food might become scarce there. So one thing I can do is become a carnivore, where I can start actually attacking other people's species, or even my own, to be fed that way. So there's all these ways where you literally have to adapt to the situation to kind of stay alive, stay afloat, stay the big man
Yeah.
on campus. Evolution Climate specifically adds a potentially changing climate zone, which might make it so that it's more tropical and warm, so there's more food available, but you might need to have some adaptations that keep you cool in the heat so you don't die off. And then it could become colder where food's a little more scarce. Maybe it's a little better to be a carnivore and stuff, but you can have adaptations to help protect against the cold and stay warm or have a bigger body size to protect yourself. So there's these kind of extra little things to consider because evolution's pretty basic.
It is. We way before we even started doing board game content, did a list of our favorite gateway games. We actually put Evolution, the base game, on there, and I pretty much stand by that. I think you can. It's a high end gateway game. But yeah, Evolution Climate's great. And one thing I like about it, like you mentioned right now, is it makes body size more of a thing.
Yeah.
Because body size in the normal game only mattered for carnivores.
Protects you against carnivores. You have to eat something smaller than you are.
Yeah, but now it's like depending on if it's hot or cold, you might want a certain body size, which doesn't
if it's really hot out, you want to be smaller. It's easier to stay cool, stuff like that. So my number 88 is Evolution Climate / Oceans, those games. But Evolution Climate is the one I played more to this point. So,
all right, let's get into
87.
Just so damn cold.
You all right?
No.
You gotta quit drinking that, man. I'm worried about your health. You're turning
I'm
blue.
gonna get hypothermia, dude. Yeah.
Blue over here.
Gosh. Okay. My number 87 is Champions of Midgard. Another game that we actually don't have anymore. And the reason we got rid of this one wasn't because we didn't like it. It was because one of our best friends has it. And so we just we always play it with him. So we
essentially have it.
Yeah, and so Champions of Midgard is a really fun game where it's a worker placement game where you essentially are going out and getting different kinds of like warriors which are dice in this game, getting different kind of food, getting different resources, and then essentially going out and trying to fight big kind of legendary-ish monsters, which will give you points and stuff like that. And you basically have a couple different kinds of warriors. You have like spearmen and like axemen and like sword people. And essentially you're rolling out these things, and there's certain monsters that like can't be hurt by axe people. So you need to not send those people out. And it's very, very cool. And then, but Champions of Midgard, I don't think would make my list if it wasn't for the expansions. I do love the expansions.
I agree with that.
Valhalla expansion, the Dark Mountain expansion.
I like both, to be honest.
Me too. I'm actually...
Let's play with it all.
Yeah, I like Dark Mountain a lot. I think it's really, really good. And Valhalla is widely considered an incredibly good expansion, and I agree. But they add a lot to it. But if you like worker placement, if you like kind of like rolling dice, kind of big fighting games, you're not fighting each other, but it's a great hybrid game is really what it is. It's a good game between like Euro mechanics and kind of Amerithrash mechanics. A lot of good Euro mixing right there, which is great.
Nice. My number 87 is the Castle of Burgundy. The dice game.
I'm about to say, I was like, there's no way.
The dice version of Castle of Burgundy. It's a roll and write version of Castle of Burgundy, which I really love. It's like the first roll and write we played.
That was the first roll we played before we
played Castle of Burgundy.
Yes.
Again, Steve, our buddy who taught us, Kingdom Builder, taught us this, and I thought it was super fun.
Yeah.
And like obviously because we had not played Castle of Burgundy, didn't have any sense of like what was going on in terms of how it ties in. But now that we have played a lot of Castles of Burgundy, I'm like, you know what, the dice version
it's a good implementation. Yeah, it really is.
Of Castles of Burgundy. So is the card game, for that matter. It's a really good version of Castles of Burgundy as well. But I really enjoy the dice game. It's just really fun. You're going to be rolling out dice each turn that we'll all make use of. That'll give you a color and a number combination. And the colors are going to be things like your castles, mines. There's these purple ones that are sort of religious monks, I think it is. And they're going to give you abilities that have powers. And so similar to Castle of Burgundy, the die number you roll is important because you have to place it onto a matching number. And you have to build out from stuff you have before very Castles of Burgundy. But then you get like some powers from these different people. You get workers, which allow you to manipulate the value of the die, like they do in Castle of Burgundy. You'll get these monks, the purple, that allow you to change the color of the color die you roll. So now you can use the same number but break the color rule. Little things like that are all kind of like fairly classic roll and writey type things.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really good one, especially one that's based off of a parent game.
Yes.
I really enjoy it. So Castle Burgundy.
I don't think it made my list, but I do really like Castle Burgundy.
I think it's really fun.
It's great. And it's very small, which is nice.
Very small, very portable.
It's a great airplane game.
Yeah, it was one of our first like bring with us on airplane type games. Still love it. We like lost it randomly, so we need to get it again.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, well, that's my number 87. Let's go to 86.
86.
My number 86 is a game that I...
In shot, Nick, 30% of the time or more.
That's true. It has to be in shot. We have to mention it in the first 2 minutes of the video.
Coldest water.
Coldest water. Get cold. What? Oh, this is a game that I to this day, we played this the other day with Mike's fiance, and I still love it just as much as I ever did, and that's Lanterns. I love Lanterns.
That's a good one.
Lanterns
I
are
haven't played it in a while.
It had been a little while, but it's just, I don't know. There's something about Lanterns that I find so charming. I don't know what it is. I just find it charming. It's a tile placement game where you are essentially putting out tiles into either their lake tiles, and they'll have various colors of lanterns on them. There's 7 different colors of lanterns. And essentially, you put down a tile, and then whatever lantern color is facing you, you'll get a lantern card of that color. One of the cool things is there's no downtime in the game because everyone else also gets the lantern color that's facing them. So on every single turn, you're going to be getting lantern cards. So you're basically trying to put down tiles so that you get the cards you want, but you're not actively giving people what they want. Again, sometimes it's hard to not do that, but it's like, but then also, if you match color to color, so if I put a blue lantern next to a blue lantern, I'll get an extra card of that color on top of the one that's pointing to me. So you're trying to do these things, and essentially you turn in those lantern cards for points. So you do dedications to the Emperor, and essentially you can turn in 3 pairs, and you'll get a little tile that has points on it. You can turn in 4 of a kind, or you can turn in 1 of all 7 cards, and you get points that way, and that's all you're doing. You're placing tiles and trying to dedicate to the Emperor by turning in these cards, and that's it. But I find it so charming and just light, and it's just a perfect game. Like, I want to play a game, but I don't want to play anything heavy. I just want to kind of relax and play. And you can just sit there and play, and it just zens me out. It just chills me out. Yeah. I love Lanterns. It's one of a game we've had for a long time, and I just absolutely adore it still. That's my number 86 is Lanterns.
You all right?
Yeah.
Nick about to get offended.
Oh, man. I'll be drinking some water just in case.
My number 86. Do a good spit take here. My number 86 is Dungeon Pets. Yeah, see? Yeah, that's real. That's a real reaction.
86?
It's what it is, man.
You're going to see this game on my list in about 9 hours.
Yes, I know.
What? That's fair. I like it more than you for sure.
Do.
But wow, I thought it'd at least be in your top 60 or 50.
I thought so too. I mean, the way we're doing our pub meeple stuff, it all kind of, I'm going to aggressively adjust.
Wow, okay, continue.
Dungeon Pets is a really fun worker placement game where you are trying to run a magical pet shop.
Yeah.
To sell pets to dungeon lords who are coming by. And it's just so fun. It's got a really fun theme. And it's a worker placement game, so you're getting different types of enclosures for your pets that'll help, because some of them are really aggressive, some are really magical, some like to play. So there's all these different pens and stuff you can get to meet their needs. And you're getting food, you're getting everything basically to create happy, healthy pets to then be able to sell to the right dungeon lords who are looking for pets with certain traits.
Yeah.
So you're trying to like get the right ones and show off and sell for the right people. If they want a really aggressive pet, they want a pet that poops a lot or eats a lot, you can make sure that you have that pet. And you're going to be doing that through playing these need cards. So every round you have to meet the needs of these pets. And the older they are, the more needs they have because they're growing and stuff like that. It's just a really fun, complex, on the complex side rather, worker placement game that is really buoyed by its fun theme, fun rule book. It's just a really great game. I really enjoy it. Yeah, for whatever reason, it's not anything against the game. It's just like, I just don't need to play it as much as I did. We've had it forever. It's one of the first games we ever got.
Yes, it is.
And I still really like it. It's still in my top 100 of all time. But yeah, 86
that's totally fair. That's fine. That's fine, honestly.
It's super good. It'll be higher on next list.
Yes, it will. My number 8. Oh, no, that's 86, right?
Yes, it is.
Now we're going to 85.
85.
My number 85 is one of my favorite party games out there, and this is Detective Club. This has completely replaced games like Dixit, Mysterium, Spyfall, all these kinds of games where it's like deduction, the kind of games, all the crazy, like trippy art on it. I still like all those games except for Spyfall. But Detective Club is essentially a mix between Spyfall and Dixit. Essentially, you have, you each get a hand of these 8 kind of cards like Dixit. Very pretty, gorgeous, but very surreal, trippy art where there's just like a cactus riding a pillow in the sky. It's very, very odd. Very cool.
Cactus is a sheriff, by the way.
That
Show
is a
some
sheriff
respect.
cactus. It's just, I want to, it must be so fun to create. It's like, just create something weird.
Yeah.
And it's like, just make it surreal and weird. It's like, okay. And essentially what it is whoever is the lead investigator, whatever, theme, you basically choose one of your cards, and then you choose a clue that's on the card. So say there's like a whole bunch of weird stuff, but there's like a little teapot. You could put like T, like T-A-E, and you're essentially that's going to be your clue, and you're going to take however many players there are, there's going to be that many notepads out there, and you take it and you write the clue on all but one of the notepads. And then you shuffle them up and give them out to everyone. So everyone knows what the clue is except for one person.
Right.
So then everyone from their cards has to put out a card that pertains to that clue. But the lead investigator already put out a card, and then everyone else then has to put out a card that pertains to that clue. Then the lead investigator will put out another card, and then everyone else has to put out a second card. But keep in mind, one of those people doesn't know what the clue is. So that one person's kind of looking around being like, what's the pattern? What's the pattern between all of them, and trying to blend in. And then the lead investigator will say, the clue was T, T-E-A, like tea you drink. And then everyone has to go one by one from the person to the left of the lead investigator, has to rationalize why they put those cards down. They're like, well, it's not T, but see, there's a giant letter T in here, so that's why I put T.
It makes sense.
Rationalizing. The problem is the cards are super weird. So even if you knew what the clue was, you could still look really suspicious.
Yeah.
Whereas the person who doesn't know what the clue is can blend in really well a lot of times, but sometimes you're just like, I don't know what the heck all of these have to do with each other. And so it's a really, really fun game where it's easy to hide and it's also hard to hide. It's a great combination that I absolutely adore. I love Detective Club.
Can and probably will look suspicious.
Yeah, everyone looks suspicious. Everyone looks bad. It's great. I love Detective Club so much. It's incredible.
It's really, really fun. My number 85 is Roll for the Galaxy. It's a dice version of Race for the Galaxy.
I never played. Oh, I played this once.
We played at Game House once. Roll for the Galaxy is really, just really fun. I like the Race for the Galaxy games. You'll see another one of these coming up. Roll for the Galaxy is the dice version. So you're going to be getting this cup, and you're going to have your citizenry, your dice, basically. They'll have a bunch of different faces. You're going to roll these dice behind your screen. You're going to choose or basically match the types. And there's different types of actions. There's settling, there's discovering, developing, shipping stuff, producing goods. You're doing all these different things. But you're going to basically, once you get all your dice onto all their matching action spaces, you're going to choose one to lock in, meaning I'm going to make sure this action triggers. Because of the 5 actions, they might not all be triggered. If no one chooses it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So you have to be like, okay, out of all these things, I really want shipping to happen because I have a bunch of my planets that have goods on them, but I really want to develop this technology, so I'm going to lock in developing so I know that happens. And then hopefully the other one gets chosen by someone else, and then basically once everyone has shown what they chose, you'll go from scouting or whatever the first action is, I'm naming different parts of it, all the way through shipping, and everyone will do those things if and as they can. And so it's just a really fun version of kind of a Race for the Galaxy game because it goes really quickly.
Yeah.
Because you're basically getting to settle the little circles to develop planets, which may be able to give you goods to then produce. The develop will give you technologies and stuff. And then once you build out a little tableau of 12 tiles in front of you, of which you start with 3, the game is over. So it goes really fast, and there's a cool app for it. So I really like the dice version of Race for the Galaxy. There's some people out there who are diehard Race for the Galaxy fans. There's people who are diehard Roll for the Galaxy fans. Yeah. I really like Roll for the Galaxy.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's my number. What are we at?
Yeah, I want to play it again.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
It's fun and quick.
Yeah,
just really fun.
All right, that was number 85. Let's get to 84.
84.
Number 84. I can't imagine it's on your list. Number 84 is a game one of those games that I feel like I'm saying this a lot, but I feel like I'm the only one who likes this game, and that's Viral.
Oh, yeah.
I really, really like Viral. Viral is a great game. It's an area control game, but it's a very interesting take on an area control game because you are all diseases, and you are trying to control a human body. Yeah. And so essentially the board is a bunch of organs, essentially, and you are trying to get area control in all these different organs. This person's very much going to die. And essentially, but the cool thing is you move around the board by ways of like the veins and the arteries and stuff like that. And it all makes sense in terms of like you have to go around it basically in this certain way because you can't go this over to here because that's not how blood actually flows in a body.
Yeah.
And essentially, and you're playing out these cards. These cards have actions on it. The cards can be like you attacking another virus. It could be you multiplying. You could be moving around, doing all this different kind of stuff. You're playing these cards to do your actions, and you're essentially trying to get area control in these different organs and stuff like that. But again, people can come and like push you out. You can like suck some of your stuff back in against the bloodstream, kind of stuff like that. It's just this very back and forth tactical game between everyone, and it's very, very, very fun. And no one wants to play with me.
I really like Viral, but yeah, it's like the hardest thing ever to convince people to play.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. And we've played it with some of our friends, and they've
like
all kind of been like, I don't really like that. And so like, I don't know. It's one of those games where like,
interesting.
This is a game again. I'll play at conventions because I know I'll be able to find people there who would be down to play it or would like to play it. And so we ended up getting rid of it, unfortunately. But I really, really love Viral in terms of area control. I think it's an incredibly fun, interesting take on it. Yeah. It's so unique. It's so cool. I think the mechanics work great. And it's just different, which I really, really like as well. But yeah, and so Viral is my number 84. I like it a lot. And yeah, I like it a lot.
Boom. My number 84 is Metro X.
Ooh, okay.
It's another little roll and write game where it's just...
I wonder how many roll and writes are on your list.
I do too.
I feel like there's more than mine.
Probably.
But there's probably a decent amount of roll and writes on these lists. Metro X is great though.
We'll find out. We'll find out at the end. We'll find out. Maybe we'll do a breakdown of like type of game.
Type mechanics, yeah.
So Metro X is a roll and write game or a flip and fill game where you're going to be flipping over cards and they're going to have a certain amount of numbers on them, 1 through 5, I think maybe. And then what you're going to be doing is you're going to have all these different train routes. And you are going to be starting from the left side of the board. You're going to be putting in whatever number into whatever route basically you want. You can either begin a new route or add on to an existing route. And if it's a 3, you're going to X off 3 spaces as you move down that route. But you run into some issues because a lot of times as subways and things, it's more of a subway system.
Yeah, that's very much what it is.
The Metro. There's places where different lines come together at stations and branch off again. And so if I have like my first route and I go brrr, and I run all the way through, and now it's been filled in. If I'm starting to come in through here, if I had like 5 and I have 1 empty space and then this kind of interruption where it's been blocked off, I lose all that extra
You can go
movement.
1 and then you have to stop.
There are a couple cards that allow you to skip over stuff and continue on. So it's all about like getting exactly matched up with another thing so that on your next turn, if you started on that same route again, you can start on the other side of it and continue on. So it becomes this really puzzly thing where you're looking for all the spots where everything comes together and you're like, how do I do this where I don't lose a lot of what's on the card? Because for each route you can only fill in 2 or 3 numbers. So if you really have to make it efficient. It's all about efficiency. It's really a tough puzzle.
Yeah.
But one I really enjoy. And so yeah, it's one of those it's just puzzly. It's not really thematic and stuff, but I really enjoy trying to think of like, how do I get this done? Because you're trying to complete routes essentially.
Yeah.
And basically every route you're like, that's a million miles away. How I'm never
You're trying to do
down
it first. You get more points if you do a route first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so there's times where like other routes will kind of go along the same thing. So it is useful to have those things where they intersect and all that because it fills in your part of that route, but you have to then work it out so you can then be efficient, get up to it, and then get on the other side of it.
It's real hard.
It's really hard.
It's really hard.
It's
It's fun though, but it's a puzzle.
Yeah. So 84 is Metro X for me. I just think it's
Great
a really interesting, really fun game.
Yeah, great game. All right, number 4. Let's get into number 83. How do you do 3? Is that a 3?
I think so. No, that's an E.
Whatever, 83.
83!
My number 83 is a game that I like, not necessarily because like the mechanics are revolutionary or like mechanics great. It's theme, and just the stories you tell, and that is The Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah.
I love The Pursuit of Happiness.
pick.
In terms of mechanically, it's a pretty basic worker placement game. There's nothing
Go to
special.
place, get
There's
some stuff.
nothing new, but it's a pursuit of happiness. It's kind of like the game of life in a Euro game. And it's all it is. And so you basically are living out your life. You are getting jobs. You are getting into relationships. You are picking up different hobbies. You're doing different activities. You can do all this different stuff. And all those things, you're hoping to get long-term happiness. That's what you're trying to do. Get long-term happiness. And those are your points in the game. And it's certain things like buying a boat is going to cost a lot of money, but it really relaxes you and gives you a lot of happiness, so you're pumped. Here's the thing, your job stresses you out, takes a lot of your time, but you need that money so that you can go do stuff that makes you happy. Or you can just not have a job and live off the land or do whatever you want. You can have 7 spouses. Who cares? It's up to you.
Might stress you out, but you can do it.
You can do all these different things, but essentially all the stuff takes your time. Your little workers are time. And certain things like jobs just automatically take some of your time at the beginning of the round.
Before the round begins, yeah.
Before the round begins, those workers are gone because things are taking your time. You know, a relationship, if you get married, it starts just taking some of your time. But what I love about it is the stories you tell, because you just start telling these weird, crazy stories about being like, man, I'm joining a motorcycle gang. It's going to be crazy. I'm also starting a boat collection and a jacuzzi collection. Yeah. And you do all this crazy stuff. And you can just like, my thing is, I'm like, I don't even care about winning. I just want to like live this really ridiculous life.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun.
Totally good story.
But then on top of that, every round you're getting stressed out, and you will die of stress in this game, which is hilarious to me.
It's gonna get you.
It's great. It's nothing revolutionary in terms of mechanics, but if you want to laugh and have a great time, just get into the story that you're telling, this life that you're living, play Pursuit of Happiness. It's really, really fun.
It's awesome. My number 83 was mentioned by you in the last.
First crossover?
Yeah. I think
Other than the Evolution crossovers,
I think
guess?
so. Yeah. This is
Whoa.
Fireball Island, Curse of
Okay.
Volcar. So as Nick mentioned in our last episode, our 191. This is a great 3D game by our sponsor, Restoration Games, our other sponsor, not for this, obviously, but for normal sponsor. For Restoration Games, and it's this awesome 3D island game with Volcar, who's this deity at the top. And it's a game where all you're doing is you're running around trying to get some treasure for a set collection, take some pictures for the gram, and then not get fireballed in the face by your best friend.
Yeah.
So on your turn, you're going to be playing a card. You'll move a certain amount, and that card will give you an action, which a lot of times is flick a marble at somebody. If you knock them over, they've been considered fireballed. They give you a treasure, and then you run around, and it's just silly fun.
It's silly fun.
It's so great. We do a lot of demos of this at like conventions and stuff.
God, it's great.
And it's always so fun.
Yeah.
I have the most fun. I will demo Fireball Island till the end of time because people are going to have a laugh, man. They're going to always, it returns you to a childlike state because it's so childish.
Yeah.
And it's great. And it's a cool production because it is this 3D mountainous board.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to like pull off trick shots and stuff. It's just a great time. And Danny mentioned this recently about like, I think sometimes we need to remember that like these are games.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be fun and silly. They are games.
People take games way too seriously. Yeah.
We as a hobby do fall into that trap of taking stuff way too seriously. It's like, it's a child's thing.
Yeah.
And this game, it just revels in its just funness. Yeah. So I will always love Fireball Island for that. It's just fun. I've never played like a version of that game. That'd be the saddest thing of all time.
That'd be the worst.
So that's my number 83 is Fireball Island. Curse of Volcar.
Let's go and get into number 82. I'm getting close.
82.
Close to my next sip, you mean?
Cole, this water.
I mixed coffee in here. I forgot about that.
Sips it. That's right. I'm sorry about that. So, my number 82 is a great CGE game that I really, really like called Sanctum. This is essentially a kind of a Euro take on like a dungeon crawl kind of thing, I guess. Which is basically you're going up to this sanctum where there's this big like Balrog looking Diablo looking thing up there. And essentially you're gonna have a big old boss fight at the end of this. But the rest of the game, you're essentially trying to prepare for this boss fight. And you are gaining loot. You're fighting all these demons on your way up. The demons, after you kill them, flip over and they turn into loot. So it'll be like different boots, different helmets, different like chest plates, whatever kind of stuff. You're getting all these items. Getting all these gear that you're eventually going to put on your body, essentially, which are going to make you stronger. It'll allow you to mitigate your dice. It's going to allow you to block when the demons, and especially the last Balrog-looking thing, eventually hits the crap out of you. Boy, he's take it. You're like, yeah. And so you're basically getting all this stuff, but on top of that, whenever you fight one of these demons, you get to move up these gems on this part of the board to the right, and essentially as you move gems off these cards and tiles, you unlock stuff, which is super cool, and it's unlocking specific abilities to your characters, like a huntress and a dancer and like a barbarian and this kind of stuff. And you essentially are unlocking things, but you're not gonna be able to unlock everything. So you have to decide in the game, what am I gonna unlock? What is gonna be most important? And basically,
focus gonna be?
the whole game, you're gearing up for this last gauntlet of a fight that is very difficult to win. And then basically from all the people who survived last gauntlet, whoever's the most health wins the game. But we're always just like, man, if you survive, everybody wins. And then we can figure out the real winner. But it's like, dude, everyone wins. You survive gauntlet. It's great. I really, really love it. I love the take on the kind of dungeon crawl. It's awesome.
My number 82, well done, holding that out. My number 82
Dealt work out there.
Boom, is Abyss.
Ooh, Abyss is
Awesome
great.
game, really cool art, but ultimately like fairly simple. We just replayed this recently.
Yeah.
It's a set collection game in a lot of ways.
Real quick, Mike. Did we play it slowly?
We played it as fast as can
Play
be.
as fast as we can.
light.
Coming out next week from when this airs, we'll be in the middle of trying to play every game in our collection in 1 week.
So Abyss was a practice run of that. We played in like 17 minutes, which I think is pretty good.
With setup, yes.
With setup, which is pretty
darn good.
So Abyss is a great game where you are just doing a few different things on a turn. You can either draw out these cards one at a time, but you have to offer up that card to everyone else that's playing, and they'll pay you pearls if they want to take that card, but you would lose the ability. And then eventually you'll get a card for yourself as well once everyone else has passed, or if no one else is interested and you're interested, you'll take that card. All those cards that get discarded will be put into these piles. So on your turn, instead of doing that first action, you could take a pile of cards and get whatever's in there. Or you can basically incur the influence of these lords. These lords are going to be your main points in the game. And you're going to be turning in those cards to get these lords. And there's lords of there's kind of like squids and jellyfish and shellfish and seahorses and stuff, these different clans, essentially. And you're going to need certain amounts of certain types of cards up to a certain value to take these different lords. That will give you different abilities. Sometimes they're one-off bonuses. Sometimes they're ongoing abilities. There's like the crabs, which are more militant and kind of aggressive toward your opponents. There's the greens, which give you a lot of pearls and stuff. There's these jellyfish kind of mages, and they give you all sorts of wacky things. And so you're kind of turning in those cards to get these lords. And once someone has 7 lords, the game will end, and then you tally up. So it's a really simple game in terms of what you're doing. You're either getting some cards, getting a stack of cards, or buying a lord. That's it. But it has this really cool art, especially with the Leviathan expansion. It's just a fantastic game. I really like it. Abyss, great Bruno Catala design with like really amazing art.
Dumb good art.
So that was just like a lucky thing that happened. Because you're like, this is a pretty simple game with like really striking art.
Really good production. Yeah.
So,
Abyss is incredible. Yeah.
That's my number 82, Abyss.
All right, last one coming up, 81. Let's do it.
$81.
All right, my number 81
What?
is a great game.
What?
Hence it being in my top 100.
It is Hi-Ho Cheerio.
I wish. It is World's Fair 1893, basically the same game. World's Fair 1893 is a great, is it not, did you not make your list?
Too low, sir.
Oh, it's higher on Mike's list. Oh, okay.
I think.
World's Fair 1893 is about the World's Fair in 1893. And it's a renegade game, and it's a really fun area control game that doesn't feel super mean, but essentially there are a couple different industries. There's like electricity and automotive and all these different, and arts.
Agriculture,
different parts of the World Fair. And essentially you're trying to get as many of your followers and basically trying to get area control in those different areas.
Yeah.
And you're trying to collect at the end of each round, basically whoever has area control will essentially get to turn in cards from that area into these little chits, and you're essentially trying to get set collection.
Yep.
And so whenever you go to an area, you then get to take all the cards in that area, and there's going to be cards that are all the different colors of the area. So like automotive is like red, electricity is yellow, and those are the cards you then turn in to get those chits for set collection. We also get these brown cards. These brown cards are people who were at the fair, so people who brought
famous innovators and stuff.
innovators and stuff like that. And whenever it comes to your turn, you have to play all of those brown cards in your hand, and they're going to allow you to move supporters around, add extra supporters, do kind of stuff, and kind of manipulate the board. And it's really, really fun and a really good game that scales really well between 2 and 4 players, plays pretty quick, an area control game that doesn't feel super mean, and also on top of that, every single one of the cards is unique. It has something that was at that fair, but the game is so fast you never read it, but there's a ton of really cool stuff on the cards
cool, yeah.
that you never get to read because the game's too fast, but it's a very, very cool game that's set in a really cool part of history. I love the theme of world fairs in general.
Yeah.
I think it's such a cool idea in the real world and a cool idea for a game.
And so have another World's Fair. I feel like it'd be a nice
nowadays
healing
World's Fair would
element.
be nuts.
I think it would be a really healing thing for
Imagine the
this
stuff that would come out of it. Oh, it'd be
Amazing.
amazing. We should have another World's Fair, man. And so I love it so much. World's Fair 1893 is my number 81 and last one of this list for me.
Nice. My last one is yet another roll and write in this list. So, I mean, maybe you were right to say how many roll and writes there are going to be. There's 3 in this section. This is silver and gold.
Oh, okay.
Or X marks the spot, as we call it here. The
As it
Murph
should be
household,
called,
because it
yeah.
should be called that. Silver and gold makes no damn sense. But silver and gold is a cool game. It's Phil Walker Harding, praise be.
Praise be.
A game where you are going to be flipping over cards. They'll give you a little polyomino shape, and you're going to be Xing off that shape within one of your 2 cards in front of you, which are like little areas on an island, and you're basically trying to find the treasure. So you're trying to fill in every box on your little cards to consider completing that area and get the points at the end of the game. And that's all the game is trying to do that. So there's like a couple things you can cross off. You can cross off X's, which allow you to X off a box anywhere on your 2 treasure maps. There's palm trees, which will then give you some palm tree points. There's coins, which will then give you the ability to get these trophies, which will be points. It's just super simple. And it's cool because the cards themselves are dry erase. You can draw on the cards themselves. And you're just trying to play.
Yeah.
This is another thing that we did as a speed test, and we played it in like 3 minutes.
3
Silver
minutes.
and gold can be played very fast if you wish, but it's a cool
It's
little
a
roll and
great
write.
game.
Phil Walker Harding, super simple. That's my 81.
Yeah, it's great. All right, and that's it for this list. That's 90 through 81. We're through 2 of these, which is crazy.
Bam!
Thank you. You know what kept us going was Coldest Water.
You know what also kept us going?
What?
Was our patrons. Thank you, patrons. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much for all of your continued support. We really do mean that. This is a joke. You were for real. But we really appreciate all of your continued patronage.
Indeed, thank you so much. And make sure to let us know down in the comments below if you're following along with us and making your top 100 along
What's
with
your
us,
90 to
which you
81?
should be, which 90 to 81. And what do you think about our games on this list? Let us know down in the comments below. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it. We're gonna have 80 to 70? Ooh, starting to get into the good stuff. Alrighty, so we will see you all into the next one. I'm Nick.
I'm Mike.
We'll see you later.
Bye. Thank you so much for joining us for our cold water, whatever that was. We appreciate it. If you want to see last section of our top 100, if you're watching them in backward order, you can watch 191 right there. There's some good games in there, I promise you. If you want to go down here, there'll be another really cool video. And make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on, because the quicker you do that, the quicker we can stop showing you this.